Okay, we're gonna get this party started. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I'm going to turn it over to Megan here in a minute, but I just wanted to let you know that this event is part of a series being organized by Siren Nation. And Siren Nation is a nonprofit that works to empower and inspire women in the arts. We're based in Portland, Oregon, and we primarily promote artists from Oregon and the Pacific Northwest. We will have more events coming up on the second Sunday of every month in the Siren Nation Speak series. And we also have a couple of online concerts coming up, including our Billie Holiday Night, which is going to be in April. And you can check out Siren Nation on social media and check our website, sirennation.org, for more information about our upcoming events.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. Happy Sunday. I'm Samantha Montanaro, and I'm so grateful to be here. I want to say thank you to the organizers of Siren Nation for having me and including women in the cannabis space for 4 years now in Siren Nation and the festival and all sorts of different programming and support that they offer to women in this space. It's really important, and I'm personally grateful, and I've seen the impact within the women in arts community here in Portland that Siren Nation has, and it's amazing. So thank you so much. Cannabis is a pillar of the arts, and we're, it's really interesting because for so many generations, cannabis has played a part of creativity. And just now, because of legalization and normalization, we're starting to be able to talk about it and to bring things to the surface. So, you know that feeling when you're inspired, creative, open, flowing, ideas are flying out of you, the floodgates are open, it feels like it'll never close again, you're on, it feels easy and fun, otherwise known as like flow state. It's a really thrilling experience. And I don't know about y'all, but I sure do find myself desperate to get back there sometimes. Inspiration comes from many places, and finding a reliable tool to help us get creative is tricky. Like, it's been a tricky thing for me to experiment with, and I know a lot of artists that are in the same space, especially if you're doing art for a living, having to tap into that space and find the tools that help you get there. It can be a tricky thing. So as we know, many artists have found cannabis and psychedelics, other psychedelics, to be helpful in getting them into a flow state. So I'm going to share a little bit about myself, and we're going to do a little exercise together, and I'm going to play some music for you today, and I'm going to show you some of my art. And I have the chat box open, so I'm going to try and see what everybody is chatting about there. So please feel free to use the chat box. A question that I want to ask you right now as we get into it is, for the folks that are here today, what do you do to get creative? Is there something that you personally do or know of that you do to get creative? Please share in the chat box. So a little bit about me. As I said, my name is Samantha Montanaro, and I have always been a true artist and creative at heart. I'm a graphic designer, musician, painter, community builder, gardener, home DIYer, and maker who loves to create everything and anything. I don't think I added chef in there, but I love to cook as well. And as a freelance designer, I founded Prism House, which is a full spectrum event space, and was also my graphic design work. And Prism House has been a pillar of the cannabis community here since legalization. We had opened an event space on Southeast Foster about 6 months before COVID. So we were not doing events anymore. So Prism House has kind of went down and is mostly just my art and me now. I'm also the co-founder of Tokeativity. Tokeativity is the global feminist community for active cannabis culture. We started doing essentially cannabis-focused events for women based on empowerment and support and creativity 4 years ago. And since we've opened chapters around the world and we organize all types of different events. And yesterday we actually had our psychedelic and plant medicine social. We had about 150 people come together from all over the place to talk about this exciting movement going on. And we actually had a couple speakers talking about creativity as well. So it's just such an exciting time for women in the cannabis and art space. I've been working professionally for an artist for over 15 years. Music has always been at my core, and I've always been a musician, but I started my own songwriting project a few years back called Mama Sam and the Jam. And we just released our second EP on Friday. It's called Home. It's available on all the streaming platforms if you want to check it out. And cannabis and psychedelics have fueled that project 100%. All of those songs were written during the pandemic time that I've been home. And it's been very much a part of my process. So I look forward to sharing a little bit more about this. I love seeing the feedback that you're sharing in the chat box about how to get creative. Like, definitely for me, getting outside, free association, we're going to do some of that together here. So if you don't have a paper and pen, take a moment to grab it. That would be amazing. I love that, looking at old magazines. Yes, finding inspiration from other people, gardening, watching movies, cooking. That is so great. Exercise. Oh, exercise is everything. Oh my gosh. Shan, you broke your bong. No. Meditation is really an important part of my practice as well. So thanks for sharing some of those things. So first I wanted to touch a little bit before we get into, we're going to do a little creative workshop here and I'm going to share some music. But before that, I just wanted to touch on some basics around cannabis and psychedelics. So, for those of you who are maybe newer to cannabis, you might know it as weed or marijuana. There's the drug war, and the prohibition of cannabis is a really complicated political matter that, unfortunately, the illegalization of cannabis and the criminalization of cannabis was used to suppress communities of color, and also used to support commodities like cotton and paper and plastics and other industries. And this is something that a lot of people don't realize, is hemp used to be everything. We were eating hemp. It was our livestock was eating hemp. And then we were consuming the meat that had those amazing compounds from that plant in there as well. And, humans have evolved with cannabis and psychedelics and mushrooms and other natural things found in nature. So it's really only the last 100 years that us as humans have not had a deep relationship with cannabis. And I use the word cannabis because that is the technical scientific term that should be used. It is a blanket statement. It doesn't matter whether it has THC, CBD, or other cannabinoids in it. If it's the cannabis plant, there's a whole spectrum of different types of cannabis. So something important that I want to note right away is I'm a big fan of go low, go slow. I mean, I'm not talking about, necessarily getting like ripped out of your mind here. A lot of times when people think about marijuana and cannabis, they're thinking about just like stoner bro stigmas. And what we're finding, this is part of my life work with Tokeativity and beyond, is to kind of destigmatize it and to remove the like intoxicated, careless, extreme use of it, and to look at it more as a beautiful plant and tool that can and should be used by all humans in a lot of different ways. So as far as cannabis goes, something that's very interesting is the plant itself has compounds in it called terpenes, and terpenes are scent molecules. I'm actually wearing lavender essential oil right now. It smells so good. And what I'm primarily smelling is linalool. And linalool is a terpene that is found in cannabis too. And there's a lot of other kinds of terpenes like limonene. It smells like lemon. And pinene smells like pine. And when you smell, there's the skunky smells, and their cannabis has a very, very strong aroma. And that they found so much to do with why it affects how we feel. We know that aromatherapy works. We know that if I put on lavender, it has a calming effect. It can help you go to sleep and help you make me feel more relaxed. This is why cannabis strains are, creating different effects for us. So this is an important thing to know. And I wanted to share some terpenes that stimulate divergent thinking. Divergent thinking is a common scientific measure of creativity. It's a type of thinking that explores many possible solutions. And it typically occurs in spontaneous, free flowing, in a non-linear manner. So to put it into other words, think brainstorming, free association writing, coming up with outside the box ideas. So, that's like the space we want to get to as creatives, right? We want to get to that space where we're not feeling limited, where we can just come up with new ideas and throw something at the wall and see if it sticks. And you have to kind of remove a lot of like self-doubt, and it can be a little uncomfortable to take that risk of to throw anything out there. But this is the juice of creativity. That's where originality comes from. That's where, all of the greatest things have come from. It comes from that space of just not being bound in a box and just letting things flow. So what cannabis strains or terpenes are good for stimulating divergent thinking? As far as strains go, my favorite, Cinex, Jack Herer, Purple Haze, Tangy, Jelly Bean. There's a lot of other kinds, but what's more important if you're gonna go, looking for something like this, the terpenes limonene and pinene and terpenoline are the three greatest terpenes found in the cannabis plant that are going to help stimulate creativity. And again, those terpenes are present in CBD plants, in hemp plants too. So you don't have to be consuming THC to get divergent thinking from utilizing this plant medicine. Something that I found with cannabis is less is more. Just a little bit can go a long way. I wanted to touch a little bit on psychedelics as well, because if you're here in Oregon, this year we decriminalized all certain amounts of all substances, and we legalized psilocybin assisted therapy. So to touch a little bit about psychedelics, mushrooms are not legal in Oregon. I want to make something really clear. It's not legal. You're not going to be able to buy them at the store. You're not going to be able to sell them or to buy them, but it is not illegal to have them. And it is not illegal to grow them, and it's not illegal to consume them. So with Measure 109, something that's incredibly exciting, this just passed with overwhelming majority, is we legalized psilocybin-assisted therapy. What does that mean? That means that after a 2-year regulatory rollout period, people are going to be able to go to a clinic to have an assisted experience with a licensed professional to work through trauma, PTSD, addiction, depression, anxiety. I could see creatives utilizing this service as well, to be able to have a guided experience with someone to tap into a different part of yourself. It's really groundbreaking, and I could spend this whole hour talking about just this because it's really that exciting when we're looking at modern medicine and how people are feeling good. And again, this has been, I was going to say, this is a sensitive subject because the lack of information around psychedelics has led to many people vastly over-consuming and having a terrifying experience that leaves them feeling really scared about the implications of people just using this freely. But here's the thing, I'm going to talk a lot about microdosing throughout this within my own experience, because go low, go slow. These beautiful plant medicines are meant to work. We have, again, evolved with them. Our bodies work well with them. We have receptors in our bodies for these plant medicines. It's like we were made for each other. It's really interesting when you look at it from a scientific perspective. So, what we're really having to unpack here because of the drug war is like, what are these substances? Are they harmful? Are they actually even harmful? Because we've been told they are, but we've actually found that really in comparison to things that we take every day, aspirin is much more dangerous in a lot of ways than cannabis is. So it's really interesting as we get into this. And I really welcome all of you too, if you are 21 and over, to join us at Tokeativity events. We talk a lot about this stuff, and we have spaces where people can come together and share screens and talk about experiences and ask questions and get information from people who are more experienced and people who are professionals in the space. So I want to say I'm not condoning consuming any illegal substance, and especially if you are not 21, I am not suggesting that you consume any of these things. This is more to be informative and for me to share some storytelling about my experiences and how it's helped me in my creative process and as a professional and as a mom and as someone who's living in this crazy world, right? It's really stressful, and creativity is such an amazing way to just enjoy life. So I have found that cannabis and psychedelics used in small amounts in conjunction with mindfulness, breath work, movement, and music is really, really the most powerful and potent combination of, of things to really unlock that creative gate. Starlight, I don't understand your question. And I do want to say here too, I want to leave some room here. Tokeativity. Yes, I'll type it in the box here too. It is my company. And we do digital events. So yeah, please look it up. I'm sure you'll find inspiration and connection there for sure. So I wanted to, I guess, just share a little bit of my artwork here behind me, and then we're going to do an exercise together. And while y'all are doing the exercise, I'm going to play some music for you. So, like I said, I've been a fine artist for a really long time. I have some of my latest pieces here. I did this under the influence of a little bit of psilocybin in a park. I went to like a nature preserve and just brought some things with me. And I really enjoy an impressionistic style of painting. I love creating movement and playing with really just like color play. It's amazing how exciting colors can make us feel when we see them. And this was just acrylics. Some of my other work though that I'm kind of more well known for that I really enjoy is using multimedia. So this is actually some vintage magazine cutouts, and then some like sparkly paper. I have like my light here. I think it might be easier to see if I don't have that. I really enjoy using a combination again of like acrylics or oil paints, doing impressionist style, kind of whimsical, free flowing. I put music on and I really just get going, and then I'll start cutting things out and kind of playing around with the composition and see where that takes me. This is another painting that I did a long time ago, and this was like a little bit more technically, a little bit more articulate technically than I usually go. I usually do things a little bit more abstract, but I was feeling inspired by monarchs. This is a big piece that I have here. It's one of my favorites hanging on my wall. And this was my first experiment with really subtle color. I really love bright colors, and I decided to play with what it would be like to actually use really subtle color changes. And I love this painting so much that I have it in my kitchen. I used a little gold splash there at the end. Thank you so much for the compliments. I really just enjoy it. I find it to be so relaxing, and I make a lot of my art for my house. Like I don't have to spend, $150 on like a piece of artwork. And actually something I really enjoy doing, more than anything, is buying thrift store pieces of art and bringing out my paints and changing it into something else. Is really, really, really fun. I can't get enough of that. And I have a few pieces around my house that are, I took someone else's art and collaborated with them to make it happen. This is a card I designed. This is some of my graphic design work, but I actually did this painting in person. I gave it to this client. And this was also an individual painting that I created separately. And then I brought it into the digital space and created this mantra card. And I love working with my clients to just like meld the spaces. I love multimedia, like using, this is again, divergent thinking, like taking outside of the box. For me, like things really break open when I'm not just trying to use one medium. Sometimes it can be a challenge where I'm like, I'm only gonna paint, or I'm only gonna use collage. But I think that creating boxes for myself doesn't help anybody. I mean, it's just fun. This is a piece I'm actually currently working on for a project with Tokeativity, and I have just this is where I'm at, is I just have some magazine cutouts, and I'm gonna start creating beyond this. So this is on my list of things to do now. So I just wanted to share some of those pieces with you to show my style and kind of what I do as far as with that multimedia art. Thank you so much for all the compliments. I really appreciate that. My fine art, I really like just give as gifts, or I like to make for my spaces. One other form of art that I have hanging all over my place, I'm going to show you on my wall here, is this piece hanging on the wall, and it's a mossy stick that I found on a hike. And then I used some turkey feathers and some yarn and some different things. And I have a lot of those types of pieces of art hanging around my house using found objects. I have a deep connection to nature, and I'm very inspired by nature, and I love to weave that in to everything that I do. And I really enjoy having artwork on the wall that isn't just painting too. It's kind of cool. So, I find that movement, music, breath work, mindfulness, meditation, all of these things help me get into my flow state. So let's do an activity together. We're first going to do a little like just movement and breathing exercise together. And then, like I said, if you don't have a pen and paper already, you don't have to participate, of course. If you don't want, feel free, or don't worry about it too. But after we do a little breathing exercise and some movement, I'm going to play some music, and I want y'all to do some free association writing. We'll talk a little bit more about that before we kick it off. So first off, I want everybody to just get on your sits bones, kind of pull your butt cheeks apart and get sitting grounded on your bum straight up. Or if you're lying down, you can just, kind of wiggle your body a little bit to get in alignment. You want to feel that direct core. You're like that rod that's going through your spine that connects us to the earth and to the ground. It goes all the way, and it's like an energetic rod, right? You want to feel that going all the way through the top of your head, all the way down out your bum or out your feet, depending on where you are. And let's just start rolling our shoulders, moving your neck a little bit, and start to take some deep breaths. We house a lot of tension in our bodies, and the energy gets stuck. And when we're trying to be creative, we need it to flow. We need to have an energetic alignment happening where, like, really things from different parts of our bodies can just flow right on out through our brains and out through our third eye space and out through our hands and our voices, whatever we're using to get creative with. So I find even just rolling my shoulders out, doing a little stretch. Feel free to, hug yourself, push your arms back over your head too. Keep taking those deep breaths in there. Get nice and settled in your body and feel that energetic rod going through. With each deep breath that you take, think about clearing that space. Think about each breath just pushing out any blockages. You don't want any blockages in your body, and you're just going to push them out through your breath. I want everybody to visualize you in your flow. How does it feel when you're in your flow? When you're feeling like your best self? What are you doing? Who are you with? What tools are you using to stimulate your flow and to create? Think about how it feels in your body to feel so open and flowing, expansive. Now I want everybody to put your hands on your hearts and think about what you want to call in for yourself right now. What do you need so that you can get back to your flow state easier? Is it something tangible like money, food, sleep, something with our basic needs? Or is it something a little more, I don't know, not exactly like a tangible thing? Maybe it's inspiration. Maybe it's laughter. Take another deep breath and pull that energy into your heart space. Think about filling up your heart with that ultimate creativity, inspiration, excitement, passion, joy, wonder, love. I love just even taking just a few minutes for myself to do this before I get into my work. Whether I'm creating something for work, sometimes I have to make graphics or think of something for an event or whatever. Or if I'm going to write music or paint, just taking a few minutes to like loosen up my body a little bit and imagine how I feel when I'm in that space. It just like, it really helps me connect to it right away, even 5 minutes. So let's do an activity together. My songwriting process is this is the way I write songs. I know a lot of people have a lot of different modalities for writing music. But for me, I do free association writing. If you haven't done free association writing before, what we're going to do is you're going to put your pen to your paper, your pencil, whatever you have, and you're just going to write the first thing that's coming out of your mind. And you're just going to keep writing. And it often, a lot of times it won't make sense. It'll jump all over. Sometimes I end up writing songs in this space. And this is really why it's my go-to now, because I have found that sometimes when I'm doing free association writing, it'll be kind of nonsense for a little while. And then all of a sudden something will catch. And then it just flows out. Something that maybe I didn't even know that I wanted to say, or I didn't have the words to do. So just start writing. And, one of my recent songs that I wrote home, this was what I wrote in my free association writing. I feel like the rainbows, I am my own song. The rain makes rhythms by falling down. I make melodies, colors of sound. The rain makes rhythms by falling down. And I don't know where that came from. Like I just sat down and started writing, and that's what came out. And I was like, oh, that's a song. I'm gonna pick up my guitar and play a couple songs for you that are some of the new songs that are not even on the album. They're like brand new. I just wrote these. And I'm just gonna play some music while you just write. Don't have any attachment to it. Don't overthink it. And it's okay if you start overthinking it, just remind yourself, like in meditation, just let it go. It's okay if you start to kind of like, ooh, what should I write next? Oh, nope, this is free association writing. I wanted to control what I'm writing right now because I am not used to writing like this. Like literally write your thoughts, just throw them out there, spaghetti at the wall, throw them on your paper and see what happens. I'm gonna play a song called Fool's Rush that I just wrote a couple weeks ago, and I've just been really enjoying playing it. And I guess I'll share this like vulnerability with you that I, on Valentine's Day, I'm really not one who's big on Valentine's Day, but I was divorced this past year, and I had been with a partner for almost 14 years, and I really hadn't thought about the holiday of love. And this Valentine's Day came, and I was having some uncomfortable feelings, and I decided to just do some free association writing. Like, it was just like, okay, what's going on here? There's no reason to get down. This is just like a silly Hallmark holiday. And I was just kind of thinking about a relationship that I have, and I did some free association writing. And this is a song that I pretty much just, it kind of blurbed out, and I picked up my guitar, and the music kind of came out as well. And this is Fool's Rush. Keep writing. Yes, self-love. That's exactly what I did that day. With one foot out the door, how could I ever let you in? Heart on my sleeve is turning blue from giving it to you. I'm just a love drunk fool. Just one more sip, one more sip. Fill my cup with your sweet talking tonic. Sing me a song, I'll forget about it. They say only fools rush in, but that look in your eyes, that look in your eyes. Baby, walk with me, hold my hand. Sing me a song, let's just pretend that we are fools who just rush in. From that look in our eyes, that look in our eyes. Fools rushing. Fools rushing. Fools rushing. Fools rushing. Thank you for the sweet comment. So a little bit about my songwriting with that song. Like I really, I have it in my notebook right here actually. Because it is, Oh yeah. So when I do free association writing, I'll just like do like you're doing right now, like really just dumping it down, which I mean, I put with one foot out the door, how could I ever let you in? The heart on my sleeve is painted blue from giving it to you. So I had some like different words in there. And then when I start to like, okay, this is a song, you know, like I picked up my guitar and I was like, ooh, one foot out the door, how could I ever let you in? I'm like, ooh, okay, that's good. I like that. I like that a lot. And then I'll start to like tweak the words and the cadence of it. So there is refining that happens within my songwriting process, but you know, but I think that it's really helpful to just do that brain dump, because I think sometimes, like, I mean, with one foot out the door, how could I ever let you in? That's like, it's a really great line. And I like didn't overthink it. It really just came out because I'm feeling this with this relationship that is like, it's not been flowing. It's like, is this, are you in this or are you not in this? And I thought that that was like really powerful. And so I wanted to share that. How is the free association writing going? Why don't y'all take a minute to comment? I want to see like how it's going for everybody. And have you done free association writing before? I'm curious about that too. I know that sometimes it can be kind of challenging for me. And then once I just start writing, it goes better. So I wrote, so I wanted to share this. Okay, I love it. Yeah, free writing like its cousin. I love that. Cool. That's great. I love it. So I want to share this because this is so fresh that I'm literally, I only have a hook, and it's a really fresh thing, but I wanted to share it with you because you know, this is my free association writing that happened in my notebook. It's really just like a bunch of scribbles. I almost like can't even read all of it, but I wrote down, well, I said I wasn't afraid of love, but maybe I should have been. Here comes heartbreak again. And I have like a whole bunch of other stuff, but I had written that and I was like, oh God, that feels so good. And I picked up my guitar and I came up with, well, I said I wasn't afraid of love, but maybe I should have been. Maybe I should have been. Here comes heartbreak again. Maybe I should have been afraid of. So I came up with that little piece, and then now where I'm at is I like picked out some other nuggets. And I love that you're saying Tave to start poems and sometimes come back through in tune and straightforward and done. I mean, this is writing poetry. You're like, songwriting is poetry, and journaling and just writing in general is like such a healthy thing for like our emotional health and our wellness, our overall wellness. Can really help you process big emotions and things. You know, so I kind of kept writing, and this is where I'm at with this song. And like I said, it feels pretty vulnerable to share this because I wrote it just a couple days ago in the morning, and this is all I have. But I know how I tried to just play it cool. Oh, how I tried to roll with it on. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. I said I was not afraid of love. Maybe I should have been. Maybe I should have been. 'Cause here comes heartbreak again. Maybe I should have been afraid of. So there you have it, a super fresh one that is still in process. But like I said, I'll write a bunch and then I'll be like, ooh, this. And then it's a seed to kind of go from. And even within my own art, other forms of art, I think like planting the seed is maybe what we need to grow, right? Like, you know, progress happens when kind of like something's planted. So I would love to share one more song with you because it was a collaboration and, you know, stimulating creativity. Cannabis and psychedelics are definitely like social, you know, I mean, they of course can be used on your own, but I find that a connection is an amazing part of utilizing these plant medicines, and community is everything to me. So my best friend, Kristen, is an amazing writer and teacher, and she's a filmmaker, and she does all kinds of things. And she's done so much writing during COVID, and she doesn't have any open mics to share it at, and doesn't have anywhere to go with it. And she was over and reading, you know, reading some of her writings to me. And I was just like, can I please make a song out of that? And she gave me her lyrics, and then I wrote some music to it. And I wanted to share that because I think that it's, sometimes if you're feeling stuck, maybe you just need a friend. My shadow, 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 oh, oh, darker now, thinly veiled, I can tell mine from yours, trees or the mountains. I wish shadows were always beautiful, in varying shapes and lengths, molded by changing light, changing light, changing light. Now they scare me, take over my heart, hollow my eyes, silence my voice. A dark blanket putting me to sleep against my will, against my will, against my will. My shadow, 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 oh, 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 oh. Wake up, wake up. Will the light, will the light lean towards it, lean towards it. It's here, it's here. Shadows infer the presence of light. 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 Lean towards it, lean towards it. Oh, it's here, it's here. Shadows infer the presence of light. I just love that song, and I wanted to share it because, especially in this time that's been so challenging for all of us on different levels, depending on our all kinds of factors. Yes, I know, right? That song makes me cry too, because it's like shadows, like we all have our shadow selves, and like it's funny with creativity because our shadow side can really fuel creativity just as much as our light side can. And I think it's like when maybe that's where the juice flows, is when there's like embracing happening of everything, and you're not trying to control it, and you're just being your polarized self. We are all polarized. We're like literally made up of atoms and like tiny things that have positives and negatives and electromagnetic charges. And we all have, you know, positive and negatives and all these things, dimensions to us. Embracing our whole selves as we are is like maybe the best thing we can do for our own creativity. So I wanted to share that with you. Before we open it up for just some questions, or I'm happy to just like have a discussion, we could totally like share screens and just like open it up. If anybody has any questions, maybe we can start there. Yeah, Foxy, right? To increase the shadow side, to create more dark work. You know, for me, I relate with that so deeply because I'm a very sunny personality. I'm like really a naturally very happy person. And my music, my personal music is really quite sad usually. And I always would kind of like, oh, people don't even want to hear that. And is that even who I am? And it wasn't until I started to like really like embody these sides of myself, like, hell yes, this dark side exists and I don't have to suppress it. I also don't need to be afraid to let it show its face a little bit more. And again, I think that that juice is like that's where we're trying to get, right? And as a society, we're so out of balance, and like the shadow side has been too great. Oppression, suppression, systemic racism, systemic sexism, just like, you know, violence. It's so prevalent. And I got this at Don't Shoot PDX this summer. It's by an artist. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce her name, or their name, but I think it might be Amy Yakamoto. The role of the artist is to make the revolution irresistible. And I love this so much because maybe the secret here, right, is that like artists tapping into their shadow and light self, making that stuff come through, they help people relate, and they can like shine a light on really messed up things happening. You know, these movements going on right now, the Black Lives Matter movement, this equality of the sexes, environmental sustainability, all of this stuff is coming to the surface right now, and artists have never been more needed to, you know, help people connect to something. And maybe it plants the seed for them. Maybe that piece of art or that song or that poem plants a seed for change. So we have a few minutes left here. Does anyone have any questions? It helps me think through those painful experiences and say what I wish I had said. Yes. Oh my gosh. I feel that. I mean, my like Valentine's Day song, totally. I actually did share that song with the person I wrote it about recently, and it brought him to tears. So I was like, good. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. You know, that's very cool. And yeah, I love this. Yeah, vulnerability is, I think, the secret to connection, right? Like it really is a sweet spot, I think, for feeling more comfortable in your body, mind, and spirit, and where you're at in your own space. It's okay to be vulnerable. I think the challenge can be for us is to find those spaces that feel safe to be vulnerable. And I want to say thanks again to Siren Nation for having me and for creating these spaces for women in the arts to come together to feel safe to celebrate each other. Because even that, you know, can feel fleeting sometimes. Spaces to just celebrate where we're at, how far we've come, and you know what we're going to continue doing to going together forward. So yeah, I guess final thoughts. You can find me in a few different places. I love Instagram. All of my things are on Instagram. I will type them in here: Mama Sam and the Jam, Prism House PDX, and Tokeativity. And those are my greatest passions in life. Prism House is really, I'm actually at Prism House right now. It's my home, but it's also an urban farm. And Prism House incorporates a lot of my just general overarching activism. I'm involved in some, I've been the president of, and am deeply involved with historic park rows. I'm on the board now. We do work in urban development and essentially, feeling aware of the gentrification rolling out in Portland. How do we continue to preserve Black, immigrant, and woman-owned, LGBTQ-owned businesses that are in these up-and-coming neighborhoods? So Prism House incorporates a lot of that, my passion for kind of like, Portland and the business districts and communities here and what's going on there, as well as drug policy. Mama Sam and the Jam's my band. Like I said, I dropped an album this past week, so check it out. I played every instrument on the whole album, and that was the first time I ever did that, and it felt incredibly vulnerable, and I was like shitting my pants the day that the album came out. On the Starlight, where are you? Where are you locating? I know Oregon's pretty amazing. You're in Phoenix. Cool. Phoenix is awesome. Thank you. Thanks for the congrats. I appreciate that. And yeah. Oh, thanks for mentioning that, Siren Nation. I've had the pleasure of being a moderator. I love moderating panels, and I can't wait to moderate a panel that we have coming up with Siren Nation. They can put the info there too. But I've done the Women in Weed panel for 4 years, and we just dig into it. It is so much fun to connect with women doing big things here. It's really amazing. I love that. Yay. Yeah. Make sure to connect with each other in this space. And thank you all so much for coming. Thanks for the support for me today. I really appreciate it. This feels really special to come on and just be able to kind of like hang out in my office and and show you what I do on my just in my spare time and also professionally, because I've made both my living. I have definitely been able to make a living out of my passion, and I think that the more people can do that, the happier we are as a society. And I really encourage all of you to like follow your dreams and keep shining your love light and ask for what you need and keep tapping in and keeping engaged and keep trying things. Sometimes you don't know what might work or what might not, but just keep trying things. I'm happy to be a resource, especially within cannabis and psychedelics, if any of you have any more technical questions. So thank you so much. Yay. I really appreciate all of you.
Hey, Samantha.
Yeah.
I don't know, this is Anina. I don't know why my video is not working right now, but we do have at least one person in the chat who said that if we can say another minute or two, somebody would like to share their what they wrote.
Oh my God,
Megan,
yes, please.
Megan, can you help us out with the spotlight video?
Oh.
Absolutely can. I will go ahead. Is that you, Shan? I will go ahead and let you unmute, and then I will. Oh no. Okay. Let me see.
No, it was.
It was Foxy.
Foxy,
yes. Foxy? Wonderful. I will go ahead and highlight you as soon as you turn your video on. I'll give you permission right now.
I usually keep it off because I've got ADHD.
Oh,
so it's easier. It's easy. If the audio is okay, if that's all right for you.
I think the audio is just fine.
Okay. So this is what I wrote. I was trying to do the free association writing, but it's just kind of come out like a poem. So, higher self or highest self, but why am I then left on the shelf? Such dreams of grandeur, all shot down, but were they really grand, or were they just afraid of light? Twisted and tattered, broken and sore, but I don't even know my own worth anymore. Did I leave it here? But you found it there. I've already been looking everywhere. All alone, yet never alone. There's always more than meets the eye. And if I falter, who would know? But only those who sigh. Angels, loved ones, and ancestors, oh my! Do they really know why I sit and cry? Can they really see inside my soul? Do they know how long it'll be before I see them again? Other dimensions have to be better than this. how I long for a good life's eternal kiss.
Wow. I have full body goosebumps.
Thank you.
So much for sharing that. That is amazing.
Thanks for letting me share. I've kind of been struggling with creative block during all the pandemic, and sometimes writing bits of poetry is the only thing I've even been able to do. So thank you so much, everybody, just for letting me share that. I really appreciate it.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. Like, I'm literally in tears, and that it was so beautiful. And, you know, creative block can be so disheartening. It can like make you like, yeah, it can lower your self-esteem and just like kind of make you feel down. And, you know, the fact that you showed up to this, like you're showing up, you know, keep trying things, keep showing up for yourself. And, you know, things will click, and they're going to ebb and flow as our life does. That was incredibly beautiful. What an amazing note to end on. Wow.
Thank you. I can't get my video to work, but Samantha, I want to say thank you so much for sharing so much about your creative process and plant medicine with us. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and Foxy, thank you for joining us all the way from Glasgow and for sharing that amazing free flow poem with us. That was really wonderful. And everyone can look for us again. Siren Nation Speaks will be back next month in April.
Can't wait. Can't wait to come to more of these workshops. And thank you so much, Siren Nation. And we'll keep connecting online, everybody.
Okay, thanks, Samantha.
Thank you. Have a wonderful Sunday, everyone.